Hey there, I'm Mac. I'm a student at the University of Delaware, and I founded a business called PenguinAds. And before I really get into it, I want to ask you guys all a question, and it could be rhetorical, or if you feel like really answering, you can. Which is, I'm assuming everybody drove down here today. You either took Route 1 or Route 13 to get to this location. So if you're on the road more than 10 minutes, more than 15 minutes, you probably pass by multiple billboards, right? Sometimes if you're on the road, if you're on Route 13 or Route 1 for 20 minutes, you probably pass by 20, 30 billboards. So let me ask you this question. Driving down here today, how many billboards do you remember seeing? Is it more than one or two out of the total mass of billboards that you saw? And the point I'm trying to make is this, is that we are so accustomed to seeing the same mediums of advertising over and over again. When you watch television, when an advertisement comes on the screen, do you watch that all the way through until the program continues? Or do you mute it, or do you change the channel and come back? When you're watching the radio, do you listen to the advertisements all the way through, or do you turn it down when the advertisements come on, or change the station? So the point I'm trying to make is that we, just as consumers, are constantly bombarded by advertisements all day long, and we become accustomed to the same mediums. Right? So what that makes us do is it wants us to start ignoring these things that we see over and over again, because it's just junk that we're overly accustomed to seeing. So let's look at the setting here in Delaware. The population is increasing, the number of cars are increasing, and the amount of time that everyday people are spending in their cars is also increasing too. And what that means is the setting of where people are spending time is changing. Roads are getting busier and people are spending more time on the roads. So if you're an advertiser, that means you have to evolve with an evolving setting, right? If you want your message to get seen, you need to put that message in front of consumers where they're not accustomed to seeing this medium. So what PenguinAds is we're an advertising company that uses this medium of car wrap advertising, but not in its traditional sense. We don't just wrap the cars and put it out there. What we are is a platform connecting companies to everyday car drivers on the road who are willing to put an advertisement on their car for their sponsoring company. So the way we work is like this. So let me give you, a pretty simplistic breakdown of our business model. Is we advertise the opportunity to get paid to drive to everyday car drivers just like me and you, driving from point A to point B. Say, hey, want to get paid to drive just for driving your normal route? Go to our website, PenguinAds.com, and give us your driving information. So interested drivers who find this opportunity lucrative, they go to our website and they give us their contact information, car information, and very, very importantly to us is their driving information. We want to know where you drive, how much you drive, where do you start, where do you end, what locations do you take, and all this information gets stored in our database, right? So we have a large collective database of car drivers who are willing to participate in this program of putting an advertisement on their car. Then what we do on the flip end of it is we talk to companies and we say, hey, listen, I see you advertise on billboards, I see you advertise on the radio and in the newspaper, but why don't we add another dimension to your marketing mix, right? The setting of where consumers are spending their time is changing. People are spending more time on the road. So wouldn't it make sense to have your message on the road where more people are spending more time? And if they successfully see the value in the service that we're trying to sell, what we'll do is we will find out where they're trying to target, right? Are you trying to target Milford? Are you trying to target Wilmington, Delaware? Are you trying to target Newark? And once we figure where they're trying to target, we'll go into our database and we'll find the cars that are driving through Newark, that are driving through Wilmington, Delaware, that are driving through the regions that they're trying to hit. So what this enables us to do is we can make a very strategically sound and intelligent match between where our advertiser wants their message seen and where we put those cars on the road. So when we make that match, right, we contact the drivers, we wrap their cars, and we just let them be. We just let them loose into the community, and they drive around like normal. They just drive around like they normally do from point A to point B, except now they're getting paid every month to do what they normally do, and our advertising clients are getting advertising in a way that actually stands out. So there's a couple key benefits to our service here, and it's kind of double tiered, okay? So the first service is this out-of-home advertising, right? There are a couple key differentiators which PenguinAds can do, which no other medium can do as well as we can. The first thing is, to reiterate, is we can target very accurately where we're trying to hit, right? Just like I said, if we're trying to hit a specific location, a specific region or zip code, we find those car drivers that drive in that region specifically. In terms of out-of-home advertising, that is very, very targeted advertising. The second way is that because this is out-of-home, you know, if you have a billboard, you're stuck, right? You're in one place and thousands of cars drive by you every day. What we do is we switch it around. We flip it up. We switch it up. So what we do is these cars are able to get in hard-to-reach places like schools, shopping centers, neighborhoods, you know, small roads where no other medium of advertising can get. So it's like if you want to get in these places and have your message seen in the community and be deeply embedded, then you have to get in these small nooks and crannies of the community. And billboards can't do that. The only thing that can do that are car drivers in that community that have their advertisement on your car, right? And the second thing, so the second tier of service is this element of word-of-mouth marketing, which is just really hard to quantify, but it's certainly there. So say we do a campaign of 20 cars on the road, right, in Wilmington, Delaware, let's say, for example. We're not wrapping the car of a robot here. These are human beings, right? They have a certain sphere of influence that they're exposed to. They have neighbors, coworkers, family, friends, people who help them, who spot them at the gym, right? They have a certain sphere of influence. And just like that brand is on their, just like these people are members in their community, if you put your brand on their car, you're also getting your brand embedded organically into that community. People will know that your neighbor is driving for company XYZ, and that word will spread. It's kind of an organic word-of-mouth marketing. All right, so those are the key two differentiators that our service PenguinAds can provide, which no other service around here can provide, and that is our key competitive advantage. Now, 1 minute. Technology comes into this also, right? You can't just have a business, a scalable business with no technology behind it. So a key thing that we do is when we wrap these cars, we have a GPS on their car, right? The point of that is to track how many miles they drove and where they drove so we can verify that back to our advertising client, saying, listen, we said they would drive here, they drove here. Check this out. But we take it a step further now because we're working with the traffic engineering company in Toronto, Canada called Dot-to-Dot Communications, which gave us a license to use a proprietary software which they created, which takes this GPS information and runs it through a software system, their algorithm, which gives us a daily effective circulation. So we can quantify the impressions of how many people saw that car when these car drivers drive around. And the things that it takes into consideration, right? How the software works, it takes into the average annual daily traffic on each road, what's the speed limit of each road, how much time did they spend on the road, what's the average occupants per car. It's not just one person per car, it's actually an average rate of 1.2 people per car. But it takes all these variables and what we feed it is the GPS data, and it chugs this information and gives us a daily effective circulation. So this is very cool technology which enables us to calculate daily effective circulation. So that's what we're up to right now is we're just kind of verging from proof of concept into making sales, and we're having this technology as our backbone. And that's what we are. That's what PenguinAds is.
Very interesting. Great. Q&A.
What is the turnaround? So if you match a driver to an advertiser, what is the turnaround to get the car prepped? So how long would I do without my car?
Yep.
Well, you get it wrapped or prepped or whatever you do. How long is the contract? So do I have this for a month, 3 months, 6 months? And I know there are fees involved on both ends of this, and you're the middleman, so you're getting a portion of it too. So that's kind of
Right.
three things
Right.
there.
Yep.
Okay?
I mean, you nailed it. You got it down. So the turnaround time of how long this process takes from an advertiser saying yes to having cars on the road is about 2 weeks. So what we have to do once an advertiser tells us yes is first we have to find the car drivers that match their criteria. Then we have to bring them, those car drivers, and say, okay, which ones do you like? Which ones are most preferred to you based upon your targeted driving habits, right? Then once we pick them, we have to do a background check and driving check to make sure that these people, no DUIs, no excessive speeding tickets, right? They're representing the brand, so we have to make sure that their driving habits are good, right? And then we have to wrap the cars. We have to schedule time for them to come in, and then we wrap the cars. And doing that whole process, right? If you do it with 1 or 2 cars, maybe the turnaround time is a week. But if you're doing that for a huge fleet of cars, like 20 cars, 25 cars, that might be 2 weeks. So we're looking at about 2 weeks. Now, from the consumer point of view, right? If we wrap your car, if you get a call from me saying, hey, your car has been selected for this program, company XYZ wants to use your car. I mean, you already signed up with this, you know the deal. How long it takes you is 1 day, a couple hours. What we do is we wrap the sides of the car, the back window, and the hood. And from an operational perspective, is we know you have stuff to do, so we get you in and out as fast as we can.
Are there any other questions?
How much, you didn't talk numbers as far as pay, how much it costs? Yeah, she asked about how much the driver would make and how much you would charge the company for that service.
Right. So right now we pay the car drivers $100 per month per car. Well, so it's a flat rate right now. But when we eventually have more when we use this technology, we're going to have more data behind us of how much our car drivers in our program drive, right? And how much daily effective circulation they're getting. What we're going to do eventually is we're going to move that flat rate to a sliding scale, right? Directly linking the amount of impressions you create with the amount of money you get paid. And on the flip end of it, with the advertisers, is we just charge a higher premium than what we pay the car drivers, right? And I mean, it's justified because we are a business and we do have costs and we are a for-profit business, right? So, I mean, this is the service that we provide. As long as we're charging a certain amount which provides more value to our client than what we're charging, then this is a beneficial service for everybody.
So, Matt,
Yes.
if Beth took advantage of this and she did it, the rec department,
Yeah.
can she, and so the contract for one client would be how long?
Okay, so yeah, sure. You did ask that question originally, which is it really depends on what the advertiser wants, right? If you want this contract if you want to run a 10-car campaign for 2 months, we can do that. Why not? If you want to do this for 3 months, we can do that. Why not? So it is really dependent upon what the advertiser wants and how long they want to run that campaign.
So that would be also her agreement as well.
Yeah.
What if she came back 3 months later and thought, well, this is a great deal, and wanted to do it again for another advertiser?
Yeah, sure. So
I'm sorry. So if I'm understanding correctly, there are 2 databases here, and you have a database for the potential client who's getting their vehicle wrapped.
so the potential client is the advertiser.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
But we have, that's a much smaller database. Unfortunately, I'd love to have a huge database of clients, but unfortunately, you gotta crawl before you walk. Now, on the flip end of it, we have a much larger database of car drivers, right? Yes. That is where the true data mining will come in, is with the car drivers, right? So the car drivers is a huge database. The advertiser database is small right now, but we'll get there.
But my point is, she can be her
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
one advertiser.
I mean, we're doing it right now. So we have a car driver right now who was previously advertising for a jewelry shop, and that campaign finished. But now we're working with University of Delaware, and we asked her, hey, you want to do the program again? And she said, sure, of course. So we're wrapping her car again, right? So you can use the same driver more than once.
So it can be financially beneficial.
Exactly, yes it can.
I was intrigued, and I thought it was very neat when you said you were getting into places where conventional advertising can't get, like the billboards can't get.
Right.
That's something that first came to my mind is if you have a car wrapped, does it kind of look like a company vehicle? And I know like there are a lot of communities that don't allow company vehicles to be parked in their community. Does that become an issue for you?
So I've never heard of any community or county banning wrapped cars, right? So I've never heard of that. But, you know, obviously laws, legislation differs state to state. So right now we know it's allowed in Delaware, we know it's allowed in the tri-state region. But if we go into New York and, you know, Virginia or Florida someday, you know, we're going to have to check the laws very closely to make sure that we're allowed to use this medium on the roads, right? But in regards to not allowing it, to the best of my knowledge, it's completely allowed here in Delaware, right? There's no qualms with these.
Places where like an electrician can't park conventional.
HOAs that require if you have a big truck, you gotta put it in your garage and go over.
Right. And one thing I'd like to add, another key differentiator is, you know, you said, is it misleading people a little bit that when you have these wrapped cars, it looks like these are company cars, right? That's another issue. Well, what we do to avoid that is, you know, on the bumper or on the sides of the car, we say, hey, this is a PenguinAds vehicle, get paid to drive. This is not an employee of this shop. This is a car driver that, you know, we say this very succinctly, right? I don't write this paragraph on here. I convey it in a couple short and sweet words. But we make the message clear that this is a PenguinAds driver. This is not an employee of that advertiser, of that advertisement you see on the car. So that is important.
Did you mention what the wrap was made out of?
Yeah, so the wrap is just decal material. It's like it's a sticker, essentially, but it's not one of those, you know, Scotch tape type stickers. You know, it's a decal. So it's actually a pretty labor-intensive process of applying this and modifying it to the shape of the